Hey, what's up everybody? It's Bruce, your off-road companion over here at Off-Road Place. Today, as you've probably seen from the teaser at the start, we have a 2025 4Runner right alongside a 2024 Land Cruiser. We're here today with them on the lifts to take a look. Are the suspension mounts looking the same? So some of y'all may be asking, can you please take out the wrench and take it apart? Well, the thing is, this one here belongs to a collector's museum, and they have kindly requested that we do not take it apart. So with that, we're gonna try our best with taking a tape measure and measuring the bolt sizes as well as the lengths of these shocks for y'all. So let's go ahead. We're gonna step underneath this 2025 4Runner and just start taking a look. Hey, how's that lower shock bolt? We're gonna just come in. That is going to measure at a 2-inch diameter. For these lower control arms, the width of them is around 17 and, what is that? 17 3/8. And distance from the top hat all the way down, if I can sneak it in. There we go. We are looking at about to the eye of the bolt is 24 inches from the top of the shock boot. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that is on the Land Cruiser. So, over here, we do have that Land Cruiser. Since I checked it on the passenger side, let's check it on the passenger side. That bolt there for the lower control arm is at 2 inches. Just measuring again for that lower control arm width, we are looking at, again, 17 3/8. And I bet you it's gonna be 24 inches from the strut top hat to this bolt. So let's see, getting right up in there. And bingo, that is 24 inches right there. Well, y'all, I know we've taken tape measure to it and you're just like, please, can you take off the bolts? Can you please measure eye to eye? Can you swap that strut over to this one, that coil over to the Land Cruiser? Can they definitely match? We've been asked kindly to not take them off just out of respect of the owner. With that though, we're waiting on those responses from companies we've reached out to. Some of them are already thinking that it very much mirrors it. And hopefully we get to have one of those suspensions here by May, where we get to show it off at Toyota Jamboree. If not, y'all, just stay tuned. We have a whole lot more planned for that 2025 4Runner. What's the difference between these two? They look so similar. What separates them? With the Land Cruiser here, it's gonna always come with the iForce Max hybrid system. So it's a 2.4 4-cylinder turbocharged hybrid system. Check here for the quotes about horsepower and torque. But with that, you also get full-time 4-wheel drive. You get a rear differential locker as well as a center locking differential. Difference though, the 2025 4Runner, in all of its trims, you get the option, either the 2.4 cylinder turbo iForce, or you can get the iForce Max. That one is reserved for more of those higher trims, starting at the Tier D Off-Road Premium. You'll see it in the Trail Hunter, you'll see it in the Limited, you'll see it in the Tier D Pro as well, which the Tier D Pro, $67,900 suggested retail price from Toyota, is actually more than the first edition of the Land Cruiser. This one though, hey, what about that drivetrain? It is a part-time 4-wheel drive and it only comes with a rear locking differential, but makes up for it with the A-Track system. That's something that's always been there for the 4Runners, is the A-Track using the braking system to act as a front locker. For other differences though between these, the Land Cruiser, it's not gonna come with that third row. Whereas the 4Runner, it will have the option of the third row. As you jump in, you can see with this being a Tier D off-road, not a premium, cloth seats. Whereas with the Land Cruiser, with this being a first edition, it has those Softex leather seats. If you come around with the camera, you can take a look at the difference of the screens. You have the 12.8 inch for the Land Cruiser, whereas over here in the 4Runner, you have the, I wanna say it's an 8.4. We're gonna do an overlay just to confirm that. So let's go ahead, we'll turn it on. As you can see, there is the heads-up display that is the same as with the Land Cruiser. Gear shifter looks very similar to what you're getting in the Tundras, as well as the Sequoias, the Tacomas. For the Tacomas, you definitely get this passenger grab handle, your wireless charging, USB-C ports. Cool shifter here. This is where you get to control your drive modes, your downhill assist, as well as your crawl control, your multi-terrain select, as well as your tow haul. Now, what you may not be able to see on that passenger side is you have a button here to help toggle. And on the base of this, you get to switch between 4 high, 4 low, or back up to 2 high. You do also have this screen where you get your audio, phone connection, control functions within the car. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, it's all right there. And over here, you do have your button for your 120 volt inverter for in the rear, your traction control, your headlight leveling. This is something that's really cool, especially for when you're lifting your vehicle. You can now adjust the level of your headlights without having to go in and manually adjust it with a screwdriver or, oh, I just lifted it and now I'm gonna blind everybody. Cool thing is, a lot of these vehicles now coming from the ports or even from factory, they're getting a dash cam installed from the factory OEM look. And then you also have your beautiful, for the 4Runner, rear window roll down switch. It's not down here because that's where they put your cup holders. By the way, they're big enough and you're not coming out with the inserts. So nobody's gonna be able to tell that you're driving a 4Runner anymore. But I like it that it's just a little tiny button right here. Auto down, you get auto up. But the question is, do we like it all going to one knob or do we miss the 2 knobs from the 5th gen? Let's go take a look at the Land Cruiser though. All right, so over here with the Land Cruiser, it feels very similar to what I was just sitting in the 4Runner. Cool thing is with this first edition, you do get memory seats. That's something that is just like I've always wished I had in my 5th gen. I had a Tier D Pro. I also had a Tier D off-road. Didn't get the limited, which would have had it, but here in the Land Cruisers, you get it. But looking over here, same function. You get your automatic high beams, you get your 120 volt inverter. You get a trailer brake though. So if you're towing, hauling, hey, from the factory, it's all right there. But if you're curious about, hey, I didn't get one of these, Red Arc sells a really great product, their Tow Pro Elite, and that allows you to not only have your braking function while you're on pavement, but they've actually tested it out in the backcountry to where if you're going downhill and you want all your braking force to your trailer and barely anything up front, you can control it right there. Or if you're in the sand and you really don't want your trailer to brake and bring you down into the sand, you can crank it to where it's all the way light and you don't have to worry about getting stalled in the sand. Gear shifter though, a little bit different. You do have your traction control here, your sway bar disconnect, center diff lock, rear diff lock. This is where, because again, it is a full-time 4-wheel drive. It is a push, hey, I'm in 4 low, hey, let's bring it back up, or push up to high 4. With this being a first edition, you do get some cameras underneath the door, underneath the mirrors, and you get to see all the way around the vehicle. And that's just a nice push from the gear shifter. You get 3 USB-C ports here, your drive mode, your multi-terrain select, as well as your downhill crawl control. And oh man, on the heads-up display, did you catch that? Where it gets to go auto, let's see, come back, dirt, sand, mud, or deep snow. And then you just let it go and you're good. And then going into your drive modes, that's where you would change it through as well: sport, normal, eco. All the buttons. For this one being a first edition, you do have a heads-up display. And well, y'all, it feels similar yet different. At the end of the day, if I were to choose one, you're gonna have to wait to figure that one out. Y'all, we're done here for today. Stay tuned for when we build out this 2025 4Runner. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube as well as our socials. And by the way, adventure awaits with Off-Road Place.